Hello. Brain Candy Podcast, episode 707.
That's fun.
Very nice number. Very nice.
Yes.
We love you, 707.
Very rounded number for some reason.
We
which is
love a
not
palindrome.
Yes, we love a palindrome. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Welcome to the show. How's Louise?
I am doing well. I'm transitioning into springtime here and starting to make plans for the summer. I feel like I've made this terrible mistake, which I didn't think I was doing this, but now that I look at my calendar, I have done this, where people keep like starting, I don't know, a couple months ago, we're like, hey, are you here this weekend for this? And I started saying yes to things.
Yes.
I have double booked myself for every weekend from now till August. So now I'm going to have to send a lot of messages to people to rearrange plans and change, because like I'm committing myself to things where I'm already spoken for.
I know. I just had this conversation. Yeah, booked solid.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that means that there probably is going to be a lot of fun stuff.
So many fun things. I mean, like, I feel like Eli has these like hopes of becoming a what did he call it? What do you call it? Like a travel influencer. Oh. Like he's dusting off the old drone, and we're mapping out our camping trips.
Yeah, you're gonna go around in like all different places, or what?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Moab. That's the first stop. Deserty, bike riding.
Hold on a minute. Adam just came in here and was asking for his keys. And this was funny because I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know if it's because of the elderly problem or what, but I have suddenly become someone who's lost everything.
What? You almost know where things are.
I know. That's why it's so weird. I'm so routinized, and I never change my routine from day to day. So I never usually lose things, but I have created a list of things that I have lost.
Well, now I feel like we're putting emphasis on losing things, so you're just kind of doing more of that because you're highlighting the fact that you're losing things. Maybe you should make a list of things that are found.
You like to keep it positive.
I do.
I found two of the things on the list, and one of them was my set of keys, and one of them was a hairbrush. It's a fancy one. It's a Mason Pearson one, though.
Those are good.
And I was so upset. And anyway, I found it. But I'm still looking for a ring, a belt, and my tweezers.
Tweezers do have tendency to disappear. Here's where you should check.
Okay.
The center console of your car.
I have a set there.
Okay. Who doesn't? Right.
Yeah, I have my car tweezer.
Right.
But anyway,
that's an age that you actually hit. Car tweezer age.
Well, the light in the car is better.
Way better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Makeup in the car, always better. I mean, not when I'm driving, but...
Yes. You know. And so I have a set. But anyway, I'll find everything. But I just hate having something that I'm missing.
Are you
under a lot of stress?
Crazy.
I must be.
You must be. This must be one of those things where, we've talked before about how, like, you don't notice that you're stressed until you're de-stressed, and then you're like, oh my God, I must have been so stressed out. Like when I went to Florida, I was like, this is what it feels like to not want to like murder somebody. Like, at any given time of the day. And so maybe it's like that, where this is a sign, because it helps to like recognize signs that you are under stress. And maybe when you start to lose things, we gotta get you to chill.
Oh yeah, I will keep you posted on things found, and hopefully.
Do you need to go camping? Do you need to go? Maybe that would stress you out.
That would be
bad
worse.
Bad idea. That was bad.
Thanks for the offer, though. Any hoodles, back to business. So say that again. You're going to Moab.
Oh yeah, just doing outdoorsy stuff. Then I think I told Eli I really want to do trips around here, like go. There's some cool places that, like, there's a place called, I want to say, like Crystal Lakes or something like that, where you like hike to beautiful alpine lake that's totally secluded.
I don't think if you stay local, though, that will help his dreams of becoming a travel influencer.
Colorado traveling local.
Oh, okay. You could do that.
An event, like
Rocky
hiking
Mountain
influencer. Yeah, adventure influencer. I also
Yeah.
told him it doesn't help that he's not taking any goddamn photos of me.
No, it does.
So I'm like,
not.
in order for you to be an influencer, you have to actually stop and take some photos.
Yeah, you have to have evidence of your traveling.
Of your excursions.
He's got a lot
I
of
hear that's important.
work to do. Okay.
Yes.
We'll see how that turns out.
Train him, come on.
We got a lot of messages about your muffin wrapper habit.
Oh no, I realized that I'm crazy. This is what the last
it's so many people that were like, yeah, me too.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God.
Because I was like, I'm just learning that I'm like a weirdo.
Maybe if you still ate them.
Right, no, I don't now.
Yeah.
That would be delicious. I'm hungry
But you
for a
want
muffin.
to.
I'm just hungry right now, and I could go for a muffin wrapper.
Stop it. Right, like you wouldn't turn it down. If
I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
You know? I'm just saying.
Well, I did have, like someone said, Susie, you really should have asked about how it affected her digestion. Like they were disappointed in me.
Didn't help. But we all I'm pretty regular, so, you know.
Maybe it added some fiber.
Probably.
Like paper is fiber.
You know, little cardboard never hurt anyone or whatever.
Seriously, though, people said that they did the same thing.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of them said that they were ADHD. And so I did want to follow up about that. Yeah. What would that, when you go, oh, it sounds like neurodivergent, blah, blah, blah. What do you mean by that? Why would that sound like that?
I think there is something, I mean, a lot of this has to do with like serotonin and dopamine levels. And so if you're just looking to get like an extra hit of dopamine in a weird place, it makes sense. Like, I don't freaking know.
Okay. So it's not like an impulse control thing?
Maybe that too. I didn't even think about that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know either.
I just thought it was because muffin wrappers were delicious.
Right. Because I think that you were arguing like that they don't have a flavor, but they taste like muffin because they're stuck to the muffin.
Yes.
And then I was like, did she eat them like did you go in from the side?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I hate that you're asking this and then I'm going to have to answer it. I crumpled it into a ball like another muffin.
Got to be kidding me. Oh my God.
And I chewed it and it became like a texture of like dough. I know. Listen,
I never
guys,
expected
I'm not
that.
proud of this. This isn't what I want to be talking about on here. I have letters after my name. I do important things, I think.
Well, we know that it was not unusual because other people said, yeah, me too.
Okay. Well.
Oh, I never thought that's what you were going to say.
I never thought I would share this or have to talk about this.
I didn't think that you took the muffin out of the wrapper. I thought
it was just like, I'm just insatiable. Like, I can't, I got to eat it all.
A Cookie Monster.
No, it was more deliberate than that. In fact, like, if I don't like it when it's like if I eat a burrito, like somebody wraps a burrito, God forbid they use tinfoil and I bite in the I don't even think I can eat the rest of the burrito. Like my texture thing, it's like metal on my teeth. I'll freak out.
Yeah, that's a terrible thought.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's move on.
I'm glad people were on my side. There was something recently that I was shocked about. Oh, just like a little thing. You remember how we asked, what are you here for? The brainy stuff or the candy?
Oh, yeah.
Freaking 49.51%. Down the middle. Oh. It's a perfect show. We have both of those things.
Yeah, I was thinking that's bad, but that's great.
No, it's good.
Okay.
Because even those people are probably like, I like both, but which one do I want more? No worries. We got both.
Right. I think
I love a good poll result.
My
shocking.
sense is that they do enjoy learning, but they really want it to be pretty funny.
Well, yeah, learning without that is dumb.
Yeah,
just kidding. It's not. It's fun. Boring.
Boo.
Right.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, this was You know how last episode I liked when you go, this is just something I wrote down. Those are my favorites because
I was like, I was just driving. I was like, maybe I'll just talk about this thing that I just wrote down.
This is because that's pretty much the best part about having a podcast is that you can just
I got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Somebody besides myself.
So I was thinking a while back, we discussed the most recent Bill Burr comedy special in which he did a bit about how, or you know what, to be honest, it may have been on a talk show, but regardless, we were talking about how he was condemning women who complained that, the WNBA, men don't watch the WNBA. And he was saying, well, you're not watching the WNBA. Women aren't supporting this franchise. And so you all are the problem. Okay. And at the time I thought, well, that's a very good point because we can't really complain that men aren't supporting it when a lot of women aren't really into it either. But then it occurred to me how, late night is almost entirely made up of white men.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, used to be Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
Who else is on there now? Stephen Colbert.
Yeah. That other James
Corden. Yes. Right. And I was thinking about how when you think of a show that's hosted by women, whether it was like Ellen or back in the day, Rosie, even like Chelsea Handler, Kathy Griffin, those type of ladies, women really support those gals.
Yeah.
When you look in the audience of those shows, it is women.
Totally.
When you look in the audience of The Tonight Show or Stephen Colbert or any of them, it is a mix. It is men and women. So the people that are not supporting women as hosts are men.
Yes. Agreed.
And I'm just saying, hey, Bill, why aren't, what's the problem there? Because that doesn't even have anything to do with athleticism or stamina.
I think the same thing about television shows that men label as this isn't for me.
Yes.
That became almost like my litmus test when I went on dates to ask about, like, what'd you think about Big Little Lies? And if they were like, oh, that's like not for me, like, because it's a women's show, I'm like, no, you're a dummy. You don't even know good television when you see it. And one of the things that I will give Eli props for is that he regularly watches TV shows and loves, like, he woke up one morning and was like, great news. New season of Fabulous Mrs. Maisel or whatever is out. He's like, it's a great day. We got a new season. I'm like, you watch the show? He's like, never missed an episode. It's the best.
That might be because he's Jewish. Well, I think. Like, because then they appreciate just literacy.
Big Little Lies, though? He loved that?
Oh, okay. But I mean, the fact that, not that Mrs. Maisel's Jewish show, although it is, but just that Jewish people have more appreciation for just like, really smart writing and comedy, and they don't give a shit. So I love that about them. I'm saying, like, kudos. I need more of that.
Yeah. But he also loves, like, exactly. Like, he doesn't, if
it's smart and funny, he's liking it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Comedy, TV shows, athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just sick of this because it bothers me, the late night thing. Because I know that if and when they do pick a woman after the 30-year drought since Joan Rivers,
right?
That it probably will fail, and that the reason will be...
And then they're going to get blamed for it.
Right, and then it won't happen for another 30 years.
Right.
And I feel like that's the reason.
And what we're going to see is what you say, is like they're going to do multiple hosts. If, like, I'm thinking about The Daily Show, and I bet it's going to be like that.
And like... on The Bachelor, when they had a female host, they had to have two of them.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And one man is equal to two women. That whole thing.
Oh, goodness.
I hate it so much.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm mad about that. But I just wanted to point that out because the WNBA is not the best example because I don't watch any sports.
And still, I go back to what I said. I don't know what we were talking about, but it was like we've realized when talking about the WNBA is that they're making the default male and calling it the Women's National Basketball Association instead of the MNBA, Men's National.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you pointed that out to me, because we get used to these things and think they're normal. Yeah.
Right. And what that implies is that they're the default and we're the other. And that's
hate it. Boo hiss.
Boo hiss.
I'll tell you what I do love, though, and that is Dipsy Stories, because, I mean, something we all love is banging.
Sus, you need to use that to relax.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think you're really missing, maybe you're not, maybe I'm telling you what to do and you already do this. I don't know your life, but you're a bath taker. I know this about you.
Yes. Big bath gal.
Throw on those wireless
Wow, I never even
headphones.
thought of that.
I know you didn't.
What if they fall in the bathtub, those
No,
headphones?
you're fine. I already tested it out. They'll stay in. You're good.
She's like, I did some quality control.
Did some research. Some
Good for you.
field work. Yeah.
Okay. That is a great place to relax, unwind,
take
and
a
make
bath.
your body feel real good.
Yes. And let yourself just listen to the soothing sounds of Dipsy.
Yeah, Dipsy, take me away. That can be like the new Calgon. Because Dipsy stories are sexy stories or immersive soundscapes or soothing stories that, whether it's to get you in the mood for some action or to put you to sleep or just to make you happy, that's what these stories are all about. And they suggest stories that they know that you're going to love based on their little questionnaire. And it's perfect for women because it's made by women.
Yes.
And for listeners of the show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial. Give it a try for 30 days.
This is like, sometimes a lot of the world of self-pleasure can be really intimidating. And, there's a whole bunch of stuff I don't want to Google and see the results for. And I don't want to search through that.
That's so true.
Right? This is approachable. It feels good and safe and consensual
and
fun. And I just really recommend it for people who are looking to feel good, relax, or get their motor running.
Yeah, and you can get that 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/braincandy. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to Dipsy, DIPSEA, stories.com/braincandy, dipsystories.com/braincandy. They have like celebrity voices too.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah. Okay. Moving on from my rant. I've been ranting a lot. Just accept it.
I love a Susie rant.
I mean, why am I so mad all the time, though?
Nah, I think you're more like pointing out things.
Yeah, I'm pointing it out.
And when we point out things, we're going to be like, what the heck? What's happening
I'm fired up.
We could call it like the Jerry Seinfeld effect.
What's the deal?
Yeah,
exactly.
With
Bill Burr.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I highly recommend the Boston bombing documentary. Did you watch it?
No, because I'm just about to run in a marathon.
Ugh, okay.
Do I really want to do that pre?
I hear what you're saying.
I don't need the extra adrenaline, or would I? Like,
maybe maybe it would help you.
I just feel like if I'm about to go camping, I'm not, or like go climb Everest, I'm not going to watch that documentary.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, fair enough.
But I want to hear all about it, and I hear it's fantastic. And that it really did a lot to change security of events, too.
Yeah. It was, even though it wasn't that long ago.
What year was it?
So this would be the 10-year anniversary, so I guess 2013.
Wow, okay.
I don't remember seeing video footage from it. I only recall stills. Yeah. And so that was really jarring to see. And something I hadn't thought about was, for pretty much the entire course of history, the problem with a lot of crimes was a lack of footage or evidence.
Yeah.
Like witness testimony. Mm-hmm. And the problem in the early time of this investigation was how much footage there was.
Oh, wow.
So much video and photographic evidence that they had to comb through in order to find the needle in the haystack of who was responsible for this. Mm-hmm. And that is such an interesting problem because usually it's like Jack the Ripper. That guy would be caught now because...
Oh, for sure.
You know? And even like John Bonet, like Nest cameras and, you know...
Oh, my God. Yeah.
That type of thing is probably would be more likely to catch someone like that.
Jeez.
And so it was really interesting to watch all that footage that they had to go through and to see how they were so methodical about it and how like there would be a section of footage where like the first bomb went off. Everyone looks in that direction except one person. And it's the guy setting the second bomb.
Oh, of course.
Because he's not shocked.
Oh, my God. That gives me chills.
Yeah.
And to watch that is very creepy.
It was so sad, though, to know that the people right around him are likely to die, including the young boy that died that day. And it's so moving because these are people that are jubilant. They're
who've dedicated their life to movement in a way, and
they're out there on like a special family day, and And Boston is a special city in that regard. It reminds me of Pittsburgh in certain ways because they have that sort of like chip on their shoulder and like sense of community and. And it was very moving.
We'll fuck with anyone, but don't anyone fuck with us. And if you fuck with one of us, I'm going to fuck with you.
Yeah. And the other thing that was shocking was I really did not remember that. You know how they were brothers, the two bombers?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about this.
Okay. What were you doing at that time? You just like were...
I must have been in like full challenge mode.
Yeah. You were in... Yeah. In the bubble. Mm-hmm. Well, I knew that one of the brothers died before he was captured, and then the other one was in prison. And what I didn't know was that when they caught the first brother, like they tackled him after this manhunt and a carjacking and like all this crazy stuff afterwards, that they tackled the guy, they had him, and then they start seeing this vehicle speeding towards them, and it was the other brother, and they had to jump out of the way. They felt the wind of the car, and he ran over his brother, killing him, and that's how he died. I had no idea.
Oh, Jesus!
It's crazy. It was absolute chaos, and I thought the documentary was honest about the mistakes that the investigators and the police made. But they were also like, hey, we were just doing the best we could. And I think they were.
Is this a situation like, the Oklahoma City bombing where there was a real obvious, point and like there was like a...
Yeah, they were religious zealots. They were Islamic extremists. Oh. And the one brother... radicalize the other little brother. And that is hard to accept that can happen, especially because like the people that knew that little brother were like, he was like a hoot. He reminded me in the footage they showed of his life beforehand. He reminded me of like a Kenny type, like real funny, charismatic, charming guy. Mm-hmm. And he looked up to his brother, and his brother convinced him of this worldview that was just so violent and disturbing. So anyway, it was really great. It was so moving. I cried several times because you just can't believe it. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's also disturbing how easily this could happen.
That is what is pretty scary too.
And I'm thankful it doesn't happen more frequently.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It's just like, whoa, I'm thankful there aren't more people like this in the world.
Yeah, let's make things as difficult as we can for people to get access to things that can do this.
Well, that's the thing, Sarah. I mean, it's like nails and pressure cookers. This is like go to your hardware store type stuff.
Oh, my God. That's so scary.
It's so disturbing.
Oh.
Okay. I'm sorry I'm a downer today. What's going on?
This is like where, we go back and forth on like the like facial recognition software. Like everything ethically says it's so wrong and we should definitely not be doing this. And like it's bad, and people who are often innocent are identified and wrongfully accused of things. And we don't even want to make one mistake on that for obvious reasons. And then like, now I'm like, yes, search everybody's history. If they're looking for how to make a bomb, fucking watch that person.
I will get, props to, there is a guy in this movie, or, in the documentary, he was just in his car and it got carjacked, and then they stopped for gas, and he made the choice to run, and it was a real brave choice, because I don't think I would have been able to do that. And he was this really sweet Asian immigrant who, I mean, my God, he had just gotten his car, right? And he was so proud of it. And like when you get your first car and you like read the manual and you're like so into it. And thank God he did, because he memorized the GPS number of his car. And so when he called the cops, he gave them the GPS number and they could track it. And that's how they caught them.
That gives me chills. That's like a little miracle that of all people, who would do that?
Yeah, right?
No, that's not a typical thing. That is like a little, ooh. Yeah.
For real. I mean, that guy was a hero.
For sure. And that's like where this little quirk that you don't expect to be the thing that saves a day of like memorizing numbers is the exact thing that they needed to stop that. Oh,
yeah, that's a good point.
I like that.
I love that. Okay, we'll focus on that.
Yeah.
But then we'll take it back down to the garbage, because then I watched the Waco documentary on Netflix.
Oh, I want to see this one because, oh my gosh.
Man, I'm live. You were so young. You were like 3.
Well, I did see the made for TV. It was like a docuseries, like a dramatization that was very good, that came out a few years ago. And now there's a new season that just came out where it talks about the aftermath of Waco. And they include Oklahoma City bombing and how, it's really good. It talks a little bit about like the mindset of the people who commit these acts, these very violent crimes.
Even at the time, I remember, because I was only 13 when Waco happened, but even at that time, I remember thinking that they really bungled it. Like they messed up so bad, like the government, because David Koresh went to town all the time. Like they could have apprehended him.
When they had people on the inside too, like they sent like a guy in there and then he got converted.
No.
Yeah, there was like a guy who was going in to document it, and then he ends up.
I did not know that. That was
at least that's in the dramatization of it.
Oh my gosh, I wonder if that's
like
true.
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, I was thinking about how with the Boston bombing and Waco, these are, religious zealots, in both cases. And I was just thinking about the way, like, because after they caught Johar, the second brother, he was not contrite. He was not sorry. That was part of the problem. He went in the courtroom all smug, and he still was like, he feels he did the right thing, right? He feels justified. And then with Waco, I mean, some of the people that escaped are still Branch Davidians. Yeah,
I don't get it. I mean, it's got to be you talked about this.
Sunken cost fallacy.
Yes. Yeah. The sunken cost fallacy. That what it would mean. What else would have to be? Yes.
Yeah. So that part of the human brain is really fascinating to me about when we watch this stuff, we think about, who would do this? This is awful. A lot of people believe so fervently that they would never change their mind. They would die for things. And they get their wires crossed and think that violence is virtuous sometimes. And it's so unsettling. Maybe it's especially unsettling because isn't all that unusual.
Right. And it's like people with nothing left to lose. Like they feel like somehow this is better than the alternative. That is wires crossed and false beliefs.
When you mentioned the Oklahoma City bombing, the connection, of course, is that, what the heck's his name? Timothy McVeigh.
Okay. I was going to say Ted Kaczynski, but that's not it.
No, Timothy McVeigh was furious about the government's action at Waco. And then Oklahoma City was allegedly, his response to that, to pay back for Waco. He was at Waco selling bumper stickers outside. He was like selling merch outside of the compound, which is, I did not know.
I did not know that.
Like, what is he selling merch for? That's the part I don't get. Like, if it's so serious, why are you being like, here, grab a little bumper sticker for your car?
I feel the same way about people who are like the flat earthers who are like selling merch for that, and it's the same. So
there's like a whole flat earther merch community?
I'm sure there is.
That's so great.
I'm sure there's I'm sure.
How about how there's that one lady on The View that was a flat earther, Sherry Shepherd?
No.
Like on The View, Whoopi, I think, or Joy was
what
like,
is
so
wrong?
do you think the earth is flat? And she was like, I've never really thought about it. You've never thought about it?
You've never thought...
She's like, I don't know.
Were you asleep in third grade when we were studying all the planets?
I can't, like...
I mean, if I were an astronaut, I would be so offended.
It's like, so rude.
I mean, I would be like, you motherfucker. Do you know what I stared back. I saw it.
Right. The pale blue dot. I saw it.
Went all the way around it.
Yeah.
Not flat. Didn't have to, like, oh my, I can't. Like the moon, I mean.
Well, you have to want to believe it, and you have to decide you're going to believe it regardless of any evidence.
I mean. I can't with all
but
that
I love
bullshit.
that there's like merch. But okay, fine. So you want to sell merch, but then how do you go from selling tchotchkes to killing kids, which is what Timothy McVeigh did?
Yeah, I'm going to watch that documentary. What did you call it? Dramatized.
Well, because you said the docuseries was a dramatization. Yes. It wasn't a docu.
Yes, it was a dramatization.
Yes, there's like an actor playing David Koresh.
Correct. Yeah, and now they have this next season that just started like 2 nights ago.
What the heck's it called?
It's called Waco Aftermath. Waco the Aftermath or something like that. If you haven't seen the actual series, you should watch it. It's very good.
It's absurd. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
What went on there. It's very fascinating. I do recommend it, though. It was really good. Okay. I'm sorry it's all dark and doom and gloom, but that's life, man.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? Oh, we have got to talk about that crazy lady that went down in the cave for 500 days. This lady.
I don't even know about this. How do I not? What? Have I been in a cave? How do I not know about this?
Okay, there's this lady who I think she calls her, she's like a rock climber and that kind of gal, like an extreme sport enthusiast.
Got it.
You're like, say no more.
Say no more.
And she decided she wanted to go underground for 500 days.
Why? Why? Why do you get these stupid numbers in your head? That what? Why?
See, and like I said, it's always white people. Black people are like, I have enough problems. Yeah, I don't need to create problems.
I'm not going to go in there for 500 damn days. That's not why.
She just wanted to see what happened, and
I feel like it's rude. You know why? Because like somebody's got to be sitting there counting down those days, waiting for your ass.
I know.
You're like you're asking people to like, hang on, I'll be right back. 500 days, and then you're like sitting around waiting for them. I'm annoyed.
Right.
I am an adventurer. A aspirational adventure influencer.
Right. Like,
And I still don't understand this shit.
She just wanted to see what happened. So she alerted the media and created this whole scheme. And well, I mean, it's kind of a scheme because, like, what are you doing it for? It wasn't some sort of rigor. Like, they said, oh, maybe we'll get some data to see, like, about circadian rhythms and stuff.
No,
but it's really
stupid.
not important work or anything.
No.
It's self-indulgent is what I think.
Totally.
But anyway, she decided to do it. And so they had this whole setup where they needed to get her the food. So they had some sort of system where they gave her
She's
food.
like, I want to go live in a hole. Dropping food. See, I told you it would be inconveniencing somebody.
Yes.
This is a selfish thing. Somebody's inconvenienced by her decision to do this.
Yeah, they
Fuck
had to
you.
go grocery shopping for this hooker.
Jeezy, crazy. I can't.
So they sent the food down there, and then swear to God, 5 poos would send her excrement back up.
Okay.
Right.
You're already in a hole. When you take shit, usually you just dig a hole.
Can you imagine 500 days of poo down there with you?
Well, I'm sorry, but you signed up to be in a hole. You don't get, like, luxury services. If you wanted your shit taken care of, stay at a hotel.
Literally.
Or use indoor plumbing. We have solutions for this.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. So
and that should be, like, if you're... So... I've said this, like, if I ever had kids, I would make the rule that if you bring, I said this to Lincoln when we went skiing. I said,
yes, you did.
If you bring it, you got to schlep it. If you want it, you got to carry it. Mm-hmm. You want that jacket? Do you want to, you're freezing, you want to wear it? You got to carry your jacket. These are the rules. I didn't write them.
I literally wrote them.
And I feel like this is that, like, leave no trace. Like, you can't be, like, putting it on somebody else to pick up your shit.
Yeah, you made your bed.
You want to go stay... and you want to do your little live in a hole for 500 days, then you got to do all the things that come with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, she didn't. And
Cheater.
She had a panic button down there, but she never touched it.
Well, yeah, you don't have to when somebody's doing all the other things that make you want to panic.
Right. I would love to go down in a hole and have someone else grocery shop for me.
It's a vacation. That's like a break. It's a long rest.
And she made it very clear to her family, even if somebody dies, don't come get me. That's what she said. Under no circumstances.
This is selfish.
Yeah, it's rude.
Don't come get me if anybody dies, but come get my shit every 5 days. I hate this.
Right. I can't stand a mess. Okay. So then, here's the part that I got real mad about. It was that they kind of like added this like tiny little parenthetical thing where it was like, it was 500 days. It was crazy. Except for the 8 days she had to come out for technical problems and live in a tent.
Nope. Well, the live stream wasn't working. I hate this.
Live stream. She did make videos, but that was
came out, she took a shower. She did. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
She made these videos, but she said otherwise she did no audible talking. It was all in the old noggin only.
Well, the audience in there isn't giving her very accurate feedback of.
I love how you hate her with all your heart.
I just think this is annoying. I feel like there's so many other things like, and what do you want an award for? Doing something like this isn't. Yeah. This is news to no one.
Ugh, I wish.
I've seen too many seasons of Alone to like clap at this.
I did think it was interesting that she claims, at least, that after 2 months she lost track of time.
I believe that.
Yeah, and she thought she was only on day like 160 when they came down to get her. She was like, wait, what?
Well, that kind of is nice that it works in that direction rather than the other way.
Good point.
That kind of tells you, like, if you're going to be stranded somewhere, don't worry, it won't feel as long as
yeah, because if every day is the same, your brain just thinks like, oh, this is a repeat. It's like it doesn't count it.
That's kind of terrifying, though. It's like...
Yeah. The worst days were... she started having auditory hallucinations, which doesn't surprise me. And there was some sort of fly invasion at one point, and they were all over her. That would be terrible. Gross.
Yeah. I'm going to pass on this book that she writes about her experience.
Yeah,
in
right.
the hole.
We don't want to hear about it, lady.
I'm fine.
Can it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was she eating?
Well, they just sent down some nice stuff, I think. I swear. There was avocados and eggs. That's all they mentioned.
Stop it. She's eating avocado toast down there. Golly.
Yeah. I wonder what her family's like. They're really glad she was gone. They were like, you should do this.
Yeah, and I'm even more annoyed if she's like one of those, like, she's got kids or something, and she's like, no, I have to go down there.
Yeah, it's important.
For what?
Yeah.
It's like, I'd be annoyed at that. I'm sure she's a nice lady.
Are you?
I don't know. Self-indulgent.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I just briefly want to say I don't want to do any spoilers or anything, but what? April's documentary, The Imposter.
Susie. It's insane.
Bro, I mean, the premise of the film, and these aren't spoilers, is that this kid went. That's not funny. The kid was kidnapped at 13, and then a few years later, some bozo from Europe pretended to be the kid.
Yes.
And then was, quote unquote, reunited with the family.
Yes.
Except he wasn't the kid. And was welcomed with open arms, despite the fact that he had the different hair color, eye color, and had a European accent.
Right.
Okay. So you should watch it. And
oh my God. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I look forward to the meeting. And our documentary club is great if you want to join, because we talk about one film a month, but there's always so much to talk about, because...
And we always share, like, other documentaries we've watched and seen, and
we always overshare about our private lives.
Always.
Because it's a little group. We love each other.
A little community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that film was wild. So I wanted to recommend that.
I wonder how, like... I feel like the thing that everybody should have been suspicious about right off the bat is what's the frequency at which somebody who's kidnapped or goes missing actually gets found and reunited.
Yeah. That's why the Elizabeth Smart thing was so extraordinary, because that was miraculous that she wasn't killed.
Right.
And
she escaped. Yeah.
Yeah. She, well, they were approached by authorities. And, they asked her eventually. They put two and two together.
Oh, my God.
And realized that she was the one they were looking for. But it had been several years, and usually you would have had... And do you remember that woman that was in the backyard of that kidnapper's house for years?
Yeah.
And had a baby with her?
Yeah.
Whatever. Those are so rare.
Right.
It's usually a very race against the clock, like 48 hours type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Because,
Yeah.
usually they don't want to be kept. But when I first started the movie, I thought, well, I can understand that kind of hope.
Yeah.
Of wanting to believe my child would be found and whatever.
And how the brain will trick you into believing things.
See, this is, again, what I felt about Boston bombing and Waco. Not for peace, but for the way that your brain can create.
Right.
It can convince you.
It will justify any behavior, like anything. It needs to.
If you want to believe it.
Yeah, to feel safe. If it provides some sense of safety or security or comfort.
Yeah, it freaks me out.
Yeah. In a way, it's very protective. Our brain is doing a good job of kind of protecting us from the realities of what could be some very terrible situations. It's kind of like, I think it is a like byproduct or unintended consequence, whatever you want to call it, of like how the brain will look at any situation it's been through and say, yep, I'd do it again. Like, even if it isn't, they asked like Nelson Mandela, like, do you wish that you were never like, held against your, like, wrongfully imprisoned? And he says, no, like, this is what I wouldn't be where I am. When you've asked me that, like, do you wish none of the things happened to you? When you're like, well, I wouldn't be able to help the people that I do or in the position that I am. Like, our brain will rationalize and make sense of some of the worst things that have happened to us to feel okay and to make it all worth it, that we went through all that.
If you had somebody, whether it was a friend or a client or whatever, like in your orbit, mm-hmm. that you had to try to convince of that their opinion was false.
Yeah. Whether,
flat earth or cults or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's fundamental to them.
Yeah.
But 100% like they've got it wrong. Mm-hmm. What would your strategy be?
First, looking at how that belief has served you and protected you.
And so you would sort of remove the scaffolding from that idea as being important. Mm-hmm. And so you can still have that certain, like that stability without mm-hmm. that belief.
Mm-hmm. And even understanding why you might believe something like that, or why you would need to believe something like that. What purpose does believing that, what function does believing that serve? Like I talked to my brother, who can tend to be conspiracy theorist minded, about what he got from some of the conversations that he had with other people who maybe shared some of the ideas that he does. And it's the sense of community and belonging and connection and wanting to engage in those kind of conversations and having a shared interest. And so when you can help people identify like why they would, like what else they're getting from it, mm-hmm. then they can kind of see more. It just increases the awareness of why it feels so like real and important.
I have friends who align with me politically who've questioned why I remain close with people who don't agree and maybe have beliefs that they find repugnant. And I always try to emphasize that the things that have made me change my mind in mm-hmm. my life were not condemnation,
right,
or judgment or condescension. It was always like just subtle nudges that were like mm-hmm. almost like questions.
Yeah.
Like, well, what about this? And usually you don't, as if you sow that seed, you don't usually get to reap it. Like, the seed could be sowed at one time.
I see. And you don't know that that somebody else a long time ago did that, and then it's not years later until you finally kind of connect all the dots and make the change.
I even think about, on my Road Rules Australia cast, we had 2 people on the cast that were not white. Mm-hmm. Piggy was biracial, mm-hmm. and British, so it was like different. Like it was sort of a different thing than like an African American.
Right. Yeah.
And then we had Kifla, who was from Montgomery, Alabama, mm-hmm. and had a more typical Southern American experience as a black man.
Yeah.
And he felt totally isolated. And in Australia, there aren't a lot of black people. Mm-hmm. And he would talk about it. Like when he would see another black person on the street, they would like nod to each other. There was like this signal, like, I see you, hello. Yes. were the same. And I was completely baffled by all of this. And anything he talked about with race, I was sort of like off put by and was sort of like, what is your deal? And he would sleep a lot, like, because he wanted to get away. Like, he didn't enjoy it like I did.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like annoyed by it a lot. And only like 15 years later did I really start to get what that must have felt like for him. And even then it was just like through learning, not through experience. And so I imagine that was very lonely for him. And he probably thought he was getting nowhere with any of us.
Oh, for sure.
In terms of us understanding. It was like, okay, can you shut up about that and just have fun with us? I don't know. I'm just babbling, but you get the idea.
Yeah,
like,
I do.
Like, oftentimes when you do the work of trying to persuade someone, you don't get the joy of like their light bulb going off and like, thank you for teaching me.
Absolutely. Because also people have to be they have to be open to learning. Like, they could be collecting the information and learning through their own experiences, and how you're kind of like showing them, I don't know, a different...
Most people are not open to it.
Nope.
Like, that door's going to shut more times than not.
Yep. I will say that's what I always say about my brother, who, like, even though he can get some, kooky ideas and conspiracy theorist ideas, he is so open-minded, and it doesn't take much for him to, like, change and look at the information and go, oh, I didn't know that before. Okay, now I do. I'm willing to change my idea on this. And that is like all you can ask for.
That is all you can ask for. And maybe it's the case that most people who are attracted to conspiracy theories have that trait. Maybe that's why they're attracted to them in the first place. It's like an alternative viewpoint.
Yeah, right.
So maybe that's a way in.
It is.
We've really come from a dark place into real optimism here.
Totally. Like, we're like thinking we could change conspiracy theorists' minds and like so change flat earthers over here,
We're in like a cult right now of like delusion, believing we can have any effect on anyone.
Yeah.
I like to think we're right.
Me too.
What did you think of this episode? Like,
I mean, I think that, like you said, we took a little bit of a roller coaster. Like, I do have a list of documentaries. Like, this is like Susie's documentary roundup for cults and natural and disasters.
Religious zealotry and groupthink syndrome.
Yes, there you go. Groupthink. But I think it's important, and I think it's like a lot of those things but happened at times where I was just too young to really understand what was going on, and I want to know.
I said to my friend Kelly, I was like, I'm watching the Waco documentary, and she was like, oh, that's a good one. And I was like, oh, you've seen it? And she was like, oh no, I meant cult. It's a good cult. Because people like have favorites.
Now. Yeah. Ooh, we love that one. Yeah.
But I mean, it really is an interesting group of people. I think the fact that there are so many survivors too is compelling. But a lot of them were just kids, and now they're adults, and they're in the film, and they're very emotional because they lost their families. Yeah, because they got the kids out. Most
weren't a lot of them his children?
I think there were a fair number of his children.
I think that also adds another layer to it too, that you like somehow put this parent on a pedestal, even though he is.
Well, and I mean, there's a lot of evidence that he was having relationships he was molesting or raping young children, and that is what I think made them feel justified in what they did. In terms of going in and being aggressive. But I just think they could have been more successful. Yeah. If they had been more strategic about that.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
Well,
on that note,
make sure you leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah. And, use our codes and all that. And if you know of any great docs, we do get a lot of recommendations. but
yep. I still haven't watched. Somebody recommended the poodle.
It's great.
A documentary about
That's
some
great.
like poodle hair contest or something,
Yes.
grooming. And Susie can't talk enough about this. She loves it.
Well, yeah, because the point isn't about the dog grooming. It's about when you become somebody totally dialed into a weird subculture, and when you want to be the best poodle groomer. I mean, that is somebody I want to learn more about.
Yeah. That that they have a collection of buttons and pins. I just imagine they have vests.
Yeah, there's always some sort of style element.
Yeah. Flair.
That was a great documentary. What was it called? I wish I could remember, but it was on Amazon, I think. Yeah. Amazon Prime. Anyway, thanks for listening. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.